Welcome to 30 minutes of talking, where I talk for 30 minutes about whatever pops into my head, um, regardless of if it's interesting or not to anybody. And the idea is that I record this and then I turn it into YouTube shorts later. And I intended to do one every day. Um, Basically, like, every day, um, without pause for as many days as possible. But it's been like 5 days since my last one, probably because I set it up in such a way where it's like I need 30 minutes of free time to record, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to talk about stuff that's interesting for 30 minutes, so maybe I have some anxiety about that. But I think today I'm going to talk about I think I'm just going to look up what's in the news, and then I'm going to talk about that shit. So that's what's going to happen right now. So I'm pulling up Google, and I'm going to check it out. See what's going on there. Okay, nothing on Google. I don't know how to see what's trending on the Google app. I mean, I guess I was on Safari. I guess I'll download Google, the app. So I guess that's what's happening now. I'm just downloading Google, and it's loading fast. Almost done. Paused. Oh, there. Okay, let's see what's trending. Google. I'd like to send notifications. Don't allow. Oh. Okay. So the first thing, I guess, that I'm seeing is a $1 trillion group has emerged to buy the Walt Disney Company. And it isn't Apple, which is the headline, because Apple had been the company people were thinking would buy them, but they're thinking a group. These people seem to think that a group is they're willing to buy. Apparently, Apple has zero interest in acquiring Disney. Um, huh. So I'm reading over, they're talking about how Bob Iger, the former CEO, retook his role as CEO. He was the CEO for like 15 or 20 years, and I think 20 years, and then he left for like 2 years, and the CEO that they hired wasn't doing very well, so then he came back. So he's the CEO again, and looking to see what the group is that would be willing to buy. Um, so interested in selling the company. From a mega buyer. And they're saying that it would cement Iger's legacy. So they're saying selling to Apple would have made sense because they have a similar brand identity. They would both benefit. And it would be it would seal his legacy because it would be Iger would be the last CEO of Disney. And they're saying that if Steve Jobs hadn't passed, they may have merged because Iger and Jobs had a good relationship together. But let's see who is interested. I don't see anything. What's the group? Um, the Blackstone Group. So, okay, it's looking like it's looking more like okay, it's looking more like somebody might buy a part of Disney, not the whole thing. Um, okay. Okay, so I'm no longer yeah, that was kind of a shitty waste of time on my end. I felt like I didn't say enough words, and I felt like reading that was kind of a waste of time. I feel like nothing got figured out or talked about really, so that's fine. Just gonna move on from that one. I could do the classic of just saying whatever I'm thinking about. So right now I have a headache. I'll talk about that. Well, I have a slight headache. It's not a very intense headache. It's a mild headache. What have I been doing recently? I've been playing horse. I've been going bowling. I've already discussed bowling on previous 30-minute of talking sessions. As far as horse goes, it's fun to shoot the ball around, play some hoops. Shoot the ball. I'm not very good, but I have a fun time with it. You get H, and you go, oh, I have H. You get O, you go, I'm a hoe. You get HOR, you go, I'm a whore. You get HORS, and you don't want to say I have horse, because then you'd be out. So instead you go, I have whores. And then you get horse with the E, and you go, I'm out. I have horse. And you try to make the shots. Sometimes you get a hot streak. You figure out how to shoot the ball. You shoot differently. You see what works. You get a hot streak. You're like, oh, I got the hang of it. And then you get bad again. You're like, oh, I lost it. And that's kind of the flow of that. That's how that goes, basically. And I've been doing that with my friends recently. That's good because it's free. Anytime you can do something with your friends that's free, it's a good time because you get to do the thing and you know that you don't have a time restriction and that it didn't cost money, so you have more money to do other things or just get food or whatever. So it's nice when you can do stuff for free. Very good. Also close to the house. Something that's interesting, competitive, stuff like that's fun. And something else I've been dealing with is going off to college soon. It's pros and cons of going to college. I mean, the pros are I'm going to have a lot of free time. Well, not free time, but I'm going to be able to create my own routine plans. And with that, it's going to be very nice. I don't have to, it's not going to be as up in the air. So I can wake up and know exactly what's going to happen, what I'm going to do. Now, what is going to be up in the air maybe is how well I do on tests and shit. But if I study, then I should do well, I assume. So, and all I need are B's. B's and A's, that's good. What I want is B's and A's. As far as meeting people, I'm sure I'm just going to meet people. And I have family, so I can meet people through family. And if I have a hard time, then I would join a club or something. But preferably, I would not have to join a club because that would take my time and therefore my freedom. So it's pretty hot where I am right now. It's warm outside, but it's not as hot as it is in Maui. Of course, in Maui, it's like burning. Hopefully that stops. I've been to Maui a couple of times. I love Maui. I love Hawaii. It's a fun place to go. Wouldn't live there, though. Wouldn't want to live there because of the island fever. It feels trapped. But great place to vacation. I've had a great time vacationing there. So hopefully it doesn't burn too much. Hopefully the burning stops and not many more people die. So the death toll has gone up to 55 now at this point. So hopefully that stops. I recently finished The Rum Diary. Or is it The Rum Diaries? I'm not sure. By Hunter S. Thompson. It was a good book. I listened to it on audio so I could run and lift weights and cook food while I was listening. when you read a physical book, you can't do those things. When you read a physical book, you have to be focused on just the book, and you have to be holding the book. It's much less leisurely, but when you read a book with a physical copy, you get benefits like you might be more aware of what's happening all the time. Because if it's an audiobook, you can zone out from time to time and have to rewind, or you might not hear everything. But with the physical book, you get it all. But again, the time, can't multitask with it. But as far as the Rum Diary goes, it was really good. And I watched the movie then after, and the movie I felt like really just didn't even give you kind of the idea of the book at all. But it was still a fun time. The movie was a fun time. My family watched it with my family. They laughed at a couple of the jokes. But as far as the plot goes, it did like a really crappy job. And it also seemed like they were just merging different books by Hunter S. Thompson into the movie. Like there was weird stuff about, they did like an acid trip. There was no acid trip in the book. And they did other stuff. And they got rid of one of the main characters and just kind of like put his character into the different characters. Like they spread around the stories. But yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of did a shitty job with the film. But I mean, it was still fun. I still liked it. But yeah, I liked the book more. They say that people tend to do that, where they're like, the books are way better than the movies. And that makes sense. Because when you read a book, it's more immersive. You have more of a connection to it. You enjoy the experience more, and you're more devoted to it because you spend more time with it. So it's going to be more, it's going to give you a deeper connection or whatever. Plus you have to imagine stuff in a book because it's not all there for you, so you really make it your own is what I think about that. The book had some interesting things to say. What are some things that were in it that I thought were interesting? I don't know, kind of the common idea of like, looking at like the everyman, the normie, didn't like them, seemingly. Calling people phonies. Judgment, the way people judge others. What makes somebody likable, the way people are ashamed of some aspects of themselves, the way people are greedy. Those are some of the ideas from the book. The part that stuck out to me the most was the part where they were one of the writers. So in the book they were all journalists, and one of the journalists did a story where they were asking Puerto Ricans why they were leaving. They were asking Puerto Ricans at the airport why they were leaving Puerto Rico. It was just a bunch of Q&As. And some of the stuff was like kind of interesting. Some of the answers. And the narrator imagined the scenario where if somebody were to ask him why he left and came to Puerto Rico, and how basically he was just kind of like afraid of the sack. He was afraid of there was something he was afraid of living that, seemed to me he was afraid of living that like normal life in America. There's just it was no good to him. And that was basically it was an interesting scene. I don't know. I'm describing it but poorly, but I thought it was interesting. And no, it's interesting to think about what authors are thinking about and such when they're writing a book. It'd be fun to write a book, but yeah, I think I'm gonna listen to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I've actually already started. I'm like 30 minutes through. It's a brief audiobook, only 6 hours. And yeah, and the author Hunter S. Thompson, I think he was a journalist, so he experienced a lot of stuff, and he was able to write about stuff because he had a lot of experiences. So I think if I want to write stuff, then I have to go out and experience stuff, which makes sense. And it's also a good strategy for getting out and doing stuff that's interesting. Is you go, oh, I need to do interesting stuff because I need to write about it. So, yeah, and as far as movies go, some people go, I want to make a movie or I want to make a show, but you can't really make a show by yourself. So, in that way, I mean, because of that, I don't think I'm going to directly start a show or a movie. If I write something that's good, then I might try to push for it to get made by people in those businesses. But I wouldn't try to create one of those directly. Because I think you rely on too many people with that. So it's kind of out of my control. And there's too many things you need to learn. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm not thinking about it in an accurate way. But from my perspective, that's how it seems. I just took a big swig out of my water jug. I drink my water out of a water jug because then I can make sure that I'm drinking a gallon every day, and it's nice. I don't have to constantly be refilling glasses of water. I just have the gallon, and then I drink it throughout the day, and then that's basically what I drink. And I can just chug at it for a little bit. I can take big swigs at it, and it's a good time. So I recommend water jugs for everybody. And then what I recommend further is refilling it. You don't have to buy a new one every day. You can just refill it and just wash it out. Wash it out and then refill it. Wash it out and refill it, and you do that over and over, and it's just like it works. I think it's the best way to get your water. And if you exercise, I think it's a necessity. I think you need it. Because you can bring so much more around if you're bringing around a gallon. And you don't need to rely on refilling it. Because not everywhere, you can't refill it everywhere either. There's a lot of tracks. If you run on the track, it's not a guaranteed thing that there's going to be a water fountain. So it's good if you have a gallon with you. You don't need to refill it. You can just drink from it. So, what else is there to talk about? I guess sunglasses. I can talk about sunglasses. I'm wearing sunglasses right now, even though I'm indoors, and I'm doing that kind of just for fun. It's kind of stupid though, but it's fun. And I think sunglasses look cool. They cover your eyes. If you're talking to somebody and you're wearing sunglasses, they're not sure where you're looking. So that's kind of funny sometimes. If you're looking around while wearing sunglasses, people are going to look at you because they think maybe you're looking at them. And it's like, nope. So, it kind of gives you a poker face, too. People can't see your eyes. They don't have as much of an idea of what you're thinking or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of like a mask of sorts. Sunglasses. You don't want to be walking out in the sun on a sunny day without sunglasses, because then you have to squint your eyes and you look like a loser. You can't help but make a weird facial expression if it's sunny out and you don't have sunglasses. You're just going to be making that weird like face where you're squinting and shit like that. So Barbie the Barbie movie got to $1 billion, which makes sense because it had a really good marketing. And I think I said this on another video I did, but I'll say it again. I think this and the Super Mario movie prove that people like to go to movies about brands that they enjoyed as kids. And people turn out for that stuff because it's interesting. It's a fun twist when you see something made with high production film on something you enjoyed as a kid. I remember when Minecraft was big when I was younger. I mean, it's still big from what I understand, but when it was big when I was younger, it was, I really wanted them to come out with a Minecraft movie. And I definitely would have watched it and maybe even rewatched it, regardless of if it was good. Because it was interesting to me. Because that's what I liked. So, people like what they're used to, basically. And they're used to brands. They're going to be used to the brands that they engaged with as children. So there's going to be a connection to that. I mean, a lot of people are going to be connected to just about all the things they were familiar with as children, if they enjoyed that aspect of their childhood. So, but let's see, is there anything I'm wanting to talk about now? I guess I'll talk about haircuts. My friend recently got a haircut, so I can talk about haircuts. As far as haircuts go, if you're a guy, you can get a buzz cut. And getting a buzz cut can be a lot of fun. Because then, I mean, for starters, you don't have hair in your eyes. You don't really have to deal with hair at all. You don't need to use hardly any shampoo if you have a buzz cut. But you do look pretty intimidating, whether you want to or not. With a buzz cut, you look more intense. So, pros and cons, just like anything. Life is a bunch of pros and cons. So when you're thinking about what haircut you want, there's going to be pros and cons. And when determining the haircut you want, you got to think about the kind of person you want to seem like. If the world is a stage, who are you going to be? Who are you going to play? You know, if you want to be more approachable, that's a certain haircut you want. If you want to be intimidating, probably want a buzz cut. So, that's something to consider with haircuts. Well, I guess that's all I have to say for today. Thanks for listening if you did. And I'll see you on the next one.